to the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. I'm your host, Jeannie Hall, and I'm pursuing my dream of writing in my jammies for a living. By discussing some of the spiritual teachings that have put me on the road to success, I hope to inspire you to feel better, live happier, and pursue your own dreams. Join me.
Hey everybody, welcome to podcast 3 for the Writing in Your Jammies podcast. This one is going to be all about gratitude. I am so grateful and thankful to everyone who has contributed in my recent changes in my life. I basically feel like I've been transformed into a much more happier, better version of myself. And I have a lot of people and a lot of resources to thank for that. And I personally believe in God and call that wonderful, loving being out there who protects us and loves us at all times God. But some people don't believe in calling whoever that is or whatever entity that is God. So whatever you choose, whatever the higher power is for you, your higher self, source, creation, if you call it the universe, I call it a lot of different things. To me, it's he, she, they, it doesn't really matter. They knew who we're talking about. So, but I'm so grateful to them, and I feel God's presence in my life and the universe is there guiding me all the time. So this one's all about gratitude and the resources that I used to start my transformation. So as you may already know, if you've read my blog or listened to any of my other podcasts, I started this by just clicking on the documentary The Secret that was on Netflix, and it was I think produced or directed or created or all the above by Rhonda Byrne, a lady from Australia who had gone through a really tough time, and her daughter gave her a very over 100-year-old book that basically outlined the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is just like the law of gravity, in that it's basically whatever energy you are sending out into the universe is what will come back to you. And of course, The Secret had the whole ask, believe, receive, and all that kind of stuff. And it's not quite that simple, but that is the foundation. That is the start of things. So that's where I started. And so that's where I'll start with you as well. Of course, there was The Secret. So I watched the video first. I watched it several times on Netflix, but I'm sure you can get it. It's also, I think, available on DVD format and different things. She's also written several books. I've read the first 3, of course, The Secret, and then the second one's called The Power, and the third one's called The Magic, and I will link to all of those in the show notes. So she, again, it's Rhonda Byrne. She has both paperbacks and audiobooks. If you're someone, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm assuming you like audio content. So this would be a great resource for you if you haven't already listened to these. My only problem was after I read The Secret and was watching the video and got all into, the whole law of attraction, change my attitude to more positivity, to make more positive changes in my life, it began to work. I was feeling better and doing great. And what happened with me, though, was I totally hit a wall. I thought I was doing everything correctly and right, and I was trying to be positive, but the mistake I made was that I was trying to pretend that everything in my life was great and wonderful when it wasn't. I was struggling very, very heavily with my job at the time, and I was very, very stressed out, and I was just trying to ignore that fact. I also had financial issues and things like that, and I was just trying to gloss over that and pretend like everything was hunky-dory, baby. And what I learned was that if you have not dealt with whatever problem it is in your life that is messing you up and blocking good things from coming into your life, then guess what? It's blocked. And you're the one blocking it. Even though you're not consciously doing so, you are doing it. Your energy is blocking that good stuff from coming to you. And of course, we all grow up with lots of different belief systems and different things, whether it's religious based, whether it's just stuff your parents or your friends or your teachers or whoever might have told you over your life, or even recently, it's stuff that we have just a general belief from our country has different beliefs, our culture has different beliefs. And, you'll hear people say stuff like that. They'll say things like, oh, these 2 people died. Just wait for the 3rd one. Or there was a plane crash. Now 2 other bad things are going to happen. Everything comes in threes. You know that. I mean, I know you've heard that because we all hear stuff like that. A lot of people, unfortunately, actually subscribe to that notion. They actually believe it. And if you start to believe stuff like that, then guess what? Your beliefs are what make your reality. And it took me a long time to wrap my head around that. And so if you have a belief like that, that's completely erroneous. It has nothing to do with truth at all. But a lot of us subscribe to it without even realizing that we do. But we do deep down sometimes believe that. Or if something really awesome happens, we think, oh God, something really bad's going to happen next. Oh crap. Oh God, it's coming. They're waiting for the other shoe to drop because something awesome and amazing happened. And that's not true either. But a lot of us kind of have that belief. And so, it's about going deep down and really looking at, where did this come from? Why do I believe this? Why does this make me feel scared? Why does this make me feel angry? Why am I getting tears in my eyes? Whatever it is, why am I so sad about this? We all have reactions to that stuff, and you got to work through it. And once you do, and it's a continual thing, it really is. It's something, you'll have different things throughout your life that you're going to come across. But once you have the tools to realize how you can release it and learn how to do it without being so terrified of it and accepting your emotions and your feelings for what they are, then suddenly everything becomes way easier. And that whole ask, believe, and receive becomes a lot easier too, because you actually are believing it. I'd say that's the hardest step. The asking, we do that all the time. We'll beg, which again is not coming from the right place. If you're coming from desperation, then you're coming from fear, and fear blocks everything. So that's a lot of it. But if you come from, when you really legitimately change your belief to thinking, I don't believe that. I'm not going to believe that. That's ridiculous. Then you just make a decision and you just stick with it. You keep making that decision, as my beloved teacher, Kelly Cooper, would say, which is the perfect segue into my next point, my next person to be thankful for. So my first resource for you, besides Rhonda Burns and The Secret, is Kelly Cooper. And Kelly is just this phenomenal, wonderful teacher. She has made such a difference in my life because I thought, like I was saying, with the big block in my job, I thought I was doing everything right by glossing over everything and pretending everything was super awesome, when I was actually miserable deep down. I hadn't dealt with any of that kind of stuff with my job or with money or any of that stuff. So I was applying for these other jobs to get out of the job I was in, and I thought I had one. I had this great phone interview. The guy sounded awesome. It was going to be a writing job. I was going to be able to work from home. I wasn't going to have to do this long commute anymore. I was so thrilled. And at the end of the interview, he said, all right, well, we'll talk tomorrow. And I was like, great. And so I assumed that was his declaration that I had the job. And unfortunately, as I found out the next day, that whole night I was on cloud 9. I was jumping up and down. My husband was all excited for me. It was wonderful. The next day I went to work and I wasn't even worried about anything. I was all smiles, all happy and bright. And I knew my time there had a limit and it was ending soon. And I was so excited. And I didn't say anything to anyone, but I knew I had this other job. I just knew it. And then I got an email right around lunchtime. And it was the worst kind of email to get in that situation, because it was, thank you for your interest in our company. We have decided to go with another applicant at this time. Thanks again. Just this real generic one that, they send to everybody that gets rejected. And it was so painful. And I thought I'd manifested this wonderful new job and everything was going my way. And just the opposite happened. And it broke my heart. And I was just a mess. I've had to fake it through the rest of my work day, and I came home and sobbed all over my husband, and it was terrible. And I thought it was all my fault, that I had done the law of attraction completely wrong somehow or something. I didn't want to believe that it didn't work. So that's not what my immediate thought was, but I thought, well, I'm not doing something right then. Why? Maybe it just doesn't work for me. But deep down, I think I knew that wasn't the truth, so I went in search of help. And the first person that popped up when I typed that into a search engine was Kelly Cooper, Help with Law of Attraction. So thank goodness that she was there, because it totally turned me around and kind of walked me back from the cliff there. But her website is livelifemadetorder.com. She offers LOA help, LOA standing for Law of Attraction, of course. She has her own podcasts and blogs, which I've listened to over and over repeatedly. I still do. She has wonderful written blogs, so if you like to read, then that's wonderful. If you like to listen to audio content, she's got her own podcast. If you're not already listening to her, I definitely recommend her. She does have a bit of a potty mouth, quite a bit of one actually, which I really enjoy and get a kick out of. But if you are easily offended by profanity, then just be aware of that. But she has so much wisdom to share. So just definitely, if you resonate with her, then you'll know immediately. And her hubby, Ryan, often guest posts and is a guest on her blog, and he's also very successful in his own right. And Kelly also does Facebook Live videos now, so she started to do some of those on Facebook, so that's awesome as well. And as I mentioned before, her husband is Ryan. Ryan has his own blogging website, which is bloggingfromparadise.com. He has Law of Attraction and blogging help as well. He does really brief little short podcasts and Facebook Live videos. So if you're limited on time, it's a really good resource to just pop in for a couple minutes. I actually took a class with them, and it was wonderful, very transforming again. And Ryan is just there. Him and Kelly both are so giving of their time and their energy. And if you make a comment on their blog, they're always going to respond. It's just been a wonderful not just help for me and helping me when I was in a really bad place, but also the encouragement and just seeing that, hey, look, you can get in this bad place. That doesn't mean everything's messed up. This is what it means. And basically what it means is that the universe or God or source or whoever is trying to show you clarity, that if you don't clear out what's truly bothering you and what your belief system really is deep down. If you really deep down don't believe you're worth getting a raise at work, or you deep down don't believe you're ever going to have money because your family's never had it before, if you believe that deep down, then that is going to be your truth. And it's up to you to change that belief. And that's what I learned. And Kelly and Ryan are the ones who taught me that. So much thanks to them. Also, Ryan, bless his heart, is going to be guest blogging on my blog, my little Writing in Your Jammies blog. So I'm so excited about that. So check that out as well. The next person I'm mentioning is someone that they mentioned, actually. Her name is Rika Zimmerman. She has, of course, RikaZimmerman.com is one of her websites. She also has Adventures in Oneness, the number 1, oneness.com. She's so upbeat and positive. I took a class with her as well, and super spiritual, powerful. She had, a couple of years ago, she had a horrible bout of, she was diagnosed with terminal cancer, basically. It was throughout her body. It was so severe, and she shouldn't have made it, basically. And she totally was cured within 2 months. And it was, it's a miracle, but it's also a gift. And it shows the power of how powerful we all are when we work together in our spirits and that kind of thing. And she's super phenomenal. She can guide you through processes like releasing, like what I was talking about, and changing some of your beliefs that are holding you back. So she's also a great resource as well. The next person is a lady named Angela Strank. She's Canadian, and I stumbled onto her because her and Kelly were both on the same YouTube show as guests, and I watched hers, and she does these wonderful, wonderful guided meditations and YouTube videos where she does meditations, and she'll walk you through, and it'll be usually like 30 minutes or so, and sometimes longer, but she is wonderful. She has, if you, like, I'm someone who, I love to meditate, but I'm not super awesome at the whole real silent meditation for long periods of time. I can do it sometimes, but more often than not, I've got so much going on in my brain that I kind of need a voice guiding me on that journey. Angela is wonderful at that, so I definitely recommend her. Another one who's wonderful at that is a guy named Jason Stephenson. I just found him on YouTube whenever I typed in guided meditations. And he's awesome. He's Australian. He has a lot of he's got a whole ton of YouTube videos and a channel full of guided meditations. And some of his are live, which is cool because then you can interact with him a little bit if you're doing the live broadcast with him. So, and he'll respond to things. So it's awesome. The next lady I found, Laura Canfield, I found because Angela Strank was on her show. And she has lots of really like an hour-long podcasts, at least, usually featuring guests with various spiritual strengths and inspirations. Hers are a little more different than I'm used to, a lot more kind of exploratory into different spiritual realms and things like that. But if I just say keep an open mind and see what resonates with you. And if it does, then wonderful. If not, don't worry about it. But I found her very interesting and very inspiring. And a lot of her guests are just amazing. I'll be honest, I don't resonate with every single one of her guests, but I resonate with several of them. So try her out as well. She's a great resource as well. The next lady I found was actually Kelly was on her show. Another lady that Kelly was guesting on. Her name is Betsy Fake PAKE. Fake. She has this wonderful community on Facebook called Start Small, Live Big, and it's like SSLB community on Facebook. You can put that into your Facebook and find her. She also has these wonderful podcasts that feature different guests that have found success in their walk of life. So it's not all completely spiritual, but it's different ways people have succeeded at business or in their own life, or she's got everything from graphic designers to people like Kelly who are spiritual life coaches and stuff like that. But she also has business leaders and mentors and stuff like that. So really interesting. I've really enjoyed every single one of hers so far. Another one I found because I was trying to learn to podcast, wanted to be a podcaster, and I didn't realize how technical that was. So, even though I'm pretty good on a computer, that podcasting is something else altogether different. So I had to get some help with that. So I kind of plugged that in, and the first guy who popped up was a guy named Pat Flynn. You may, if you listen to podcasts, especially business ones, you probably already listened to this guy. He has the Smart Passive Income podcast. He's got way over like 200 podcasts, and he has all sorts of famous guests on his show and so much to learn. I'm just starting to listen to his podcast and watch his YouTube videos. He has both of those. But he's pretty famous dude. And I just got a very positive feeling from him whenever I was watching his videos. He's very patient and explains everything really well, and enabled me to do this podcast in the first place. So I definitely wanted to mention him. So just check him out as well if you are not already. So that is my list today of all the wonderful people that have helped me along this journey and kind of got me going. And I know there's always going to be more that I'll add to that. But I just want to share that today and say thank you so much. I consider you part of my journey as well. And, I think we're all in this together. The more we can help each other, the better this world will be. So that's me. I'm going to sign off now. And I thank you again for listening. And I hope this podcast helps you in some way. And I also hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.
I I truly appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to this podcast. You can learn more about the topics discussed on this show and any episode on my website, writinginyourjammies.com, and on my Amazon author page, keyword Jeannie Hall. Remember that you are worthy of all good things. You are pure love, light, and energy. Thanks again.